One of the challenges I have in Parliament is trying to separate my position as a Member of Parliament and also as a practicing doctor. The reason I came into Parliament, of course, was to help my patients with the physical, mental, social and financial issues with the things that are going on that I cannot affect in my position as a doctor in the consulting room. And since I have become a Member of Parliament, I still get communications from patients detailing to me the reasons why they are struggling with the current health system in general, but also in particular with what's happening with the management of so-called drugs of illicit use. Because it's difficult, actually, to manage your own illness when you have a severe problem and you do not get the appropriate help to relieve the symptoms. So a gentleman here wrote to me, he's got a terrible, absolutely terrible skin condition. Pain and stiffness and moving when you rip your skin, when you stretch a little bit and your skin is ripped open. And I challenge anyone to look at that with equanimity and say they would manage well. Now, he has been manufacturing his own medicine to keep those symptoms under control, both topically used as well as internal. I'm going to read into the Hansard some of his email to me. And this is what we're actually facing, we, as members of Parliament, who are actually charged with actually creating the legislation around which we can help our people, to help our people. And the question we ought to ask ourselves is, are we doing all that we can? I'll let you make your own decision after having heard this letter, this email. This is ridiculous, he says. I currently face up to $420,000 in fines, up to 115 years in prison for self-medicating, and the proposed penalties are no better, $96,000 or 12 years. All I get to fight this is $12,000 in legal aid. They may or may not confiscate my home at the end of it all. This is here referring to the confiscation of property. The part of the laws was two parts, which the Honourable Wayne Martin dealt with and still has not been dealt with. They will take all of my future funds I will need to fix my broken 90-year-old home. The gutters are already falling off and water everywhere, and I have absolutely nothing and never will have at this point. They want all and more than I have. He goes on to say, all I ask from the DPP is a little empathy and understanding of why I chose to do what I did, self-medicating. I only wanted to shake the dark, suicidal thoughts and to be comfortable with a slightly better quality of life. Is he asking too much, members? I'm so sick of the constant, strong pain. I was totally incapacitated before stabilising just on 2 years ago. I would need a 4 to 5 hour soak in the bathtub every 3 days to remove thick external plaques from 75% of my body, which is now very badly scarred. I grew 3 months of cells over a 24-hour period for 2 decades or more, almost 2,000 years worth. How am I even here still, I wonder? I would constantly suffer ripped and torn skin, insufferable deep itching, and had next to no range of movement. My sheets would be bloody every morning, as were my clothes, except for the morning after my long bath soak. For a brief moment, I could stretch a little. Nobody should be restricted from doing whatever it takes, and to criminalise one for it to such an extreme degree is the criminal act. I've been in court now for 20 months and will be for longer yet. The stress is complicating my condition. I must see a cardiologist for the first time in my life to ease the concerns of my GP. I'm scared, and more alone than ever. I won't repeat the next part. But I must remain positive. How is that done with such penalties to look forward to from an apathetic DPP? I realise, he says, there is nothing you can do, so it is all down to the prosecutor being reasonable and accepting that I am remorseful and just want this to be over already. What is a Member of Parliament supposed to do with this? What is a general practitioner supposed to do with this? A man in distress. And all I can do is offer my sympathies and say, well, I'll bring this to people's attention, but what will happen? This, my friends, this is the reality of much of our population. And is it incumbent upon us to take this to heart. And rather than actually relying on the slow mills of bureaucracy to eventually perhaps do something that might alleviate the pain, if we're unable to speed that process, then we have to ask ourselves the question, what is the use of us? Because I don't know about you, but I feel totally powerless.